Hey friends, Nikki Franklin here with Frankly Nikki. Wanted to come in and say what's on my heart today. And I'm also going to do an affirmation today because I feel that's the way to be today. So, yesterday was, a tough day for me. And I managed to get through with my oils and my positivity and my affirmations. And I shared about, expressing emotions and all. Hi, Haley. And today has been more overwhelming. And it got me thinking of self-sabotage and how, that was like one of my biggest aha realizations when I started on the journey of healing from my past trauma. Because when I started to heal, or before that, I thought that I had, forgiven, moved on, healed, was able to live with what happened to me. And then I realized that as I started on this journey, that I hadn't healed from it. I had learned to live with it. I had learned to, survive. But I hadn't learned how to truly forgive, release, and move on so it wasn't affecting my life. And so as I started digging into research, I realized that, there's a lot of things that I've done throughout my life that, are related to trauma, childhood trauma, and self-sabotage is one of them. And so it made me start thinking, and y'all, anger is still my thriving emotion, and it's still something I work on. And so I was thinking, I have a friend whose brother has gone through stuff as a child, and he self-destructs intentionally and is very woe is me, and he chooses to have his life be miserable. And the biggest thing that, my realization was I could choose to have my life be miserable. I could, literally be like, this happened to me, feel bad for me, my life sucks, you haven't been through what I've been through, you wouldn't understand what goes on in my head, you haven't done this, whatever it is, I can never have this, I'm worthless. I could say all of these things so clear. And people would pity me and they would feel bad for me, but I don't want pity. I don't want people to feel bad for me. I choose to have a thriving, happy, joyful life. And so self-sabotage was one of the biggest things that I realized, and even now it is something that I struggle with. To this morning, I was feeling overwhelmed, and, I'm choosing to find balance. I have been working really hard to find balance in my life of not just working on my business, of not just working on taking care of my cat, of not just cleaning my house. My house is big. It's all big for somebody. My house is a mess right now, y'all. It's caught me feeling so overwhelmed. But I realized that I was making excuses for certain things of why I wasn't getting them done, and it wasn't the fact that I couldn't get them done. It was I was self-sabotaging. It is something that I live with, which made me think of my friend's brother who's always woe is me. And I'm choosing to find a way to bring this together so y'all understand. If y'all went through something as a child, and you have struggled with anxiety, depression, addiction, abuse, or whatever that word is I'm looking for, drugs, alcohol. If if there's certain things you've done in your life and you just thought that it was only you and that you're the only one who's been through this and that nobody else could understand the inner war that you're fighting, I promise you're not alone. It's how you choose to live your life and the decisions that you make that shapes you. You're an adult now. You have the capability to put on your big girl pants and work towards being your best self. Work towards your highest choices. Work towards your heart's desires. You can choose that now. Nobody can hold you back from that. And if you're not having that happen for you and that's not unfolding for you, it's because you're choosing that. And this is tough love, y'all. I chose to be miserable for so long. That was my choice. But I also chose to continue to search to understand why I felt this way. And this is why I choose to help women understand why they feel this way and tools to help overcome them, because it's not fun to be so uncomfortable in your own skin and feel like you're fighting this inner war, but then on the outside, when you're with, friends or new people or at work or whatever it is, you show up as this completely different person. You should be able to show up as who you are every single day. And if you are unable to do that, or you are choosing to not show up and shine your truest you because you are embarrassed, because you are shameful of who you are, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You have the power within yourself to have everything you've ever dreamed of. Just because when you were a kid that got taken away from you doesn't mean that it's going to be taken away from you now. You are an adult now. So if you are holding yourself back, this is where I have tough love for you. This is where I choose to say, get over it. And it's not easy just to get over, but you have the choice to grow up. You have the choice to be happy and joyful and thriving. And you also have the choice to continue to be woe is me, my life sucks, F this, F that. The choice is yours, happiness or misery. You decide. You decide. Okay, so that's my little Nikki's TED Talk for the day. That it was really on my heart this morning, and just thinking of my friend's brother who struggles so much. I'm like, this is your choice. You choose to be this unhappy. You choose to have that life that you have. You choose to be put in the situations you're put into. You're grown. You can do as you please. And you choose to be miserable. You choose to try and bring everybody else around you down because you don't want them to have joy. And that's on you. Nobody else. Not what happened to you as a child. That is not on your abuser. It's not, because you have continued to choose to live that life. So, let's see what affirmation I can do to help through all of that. These cards don't spread easily, so. All right. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Let's see where I'm led to today. Okay. I see my parents as tiny children who need love. It looks like that. I have compassion for my parents' childhoods. I now know that I chose them because they were perfect for what I had to learn. I forgive them and set them free, and I set myself free. Interesting. Interesting that that's the one that I chose today. So I see my parents as tiny children who need love. I actually really enjoy that because, especially when you think about, trauma, childhood trauma, sometimes it's from your parents. Sometimes, parents do the best that they can, and they don't always do the right thing, but they, at the time, thought it was the right thing. There's no manual in it, and depending on what they went through in childhood could affect the way they are as parents. So, I've actually, had this image of, seeing an adult as a child and just surrounding that child with love, because I really talk about healing an inner child. So I really like this. I think it's a really powerful one. I see my parents as tiny children who need love. That way you could forgive and you could see it as another way, because if a child makes a mistake, you're able to, they're learning, forgive them, teach them so they know better, and they can grow and thrive into, better options and make better decisions. So that's powerful. I choose to view my parents as children who need love. So I have compassion for my parents' childhoods. I now know that I chose them because they were perfect for what I had to learn. I forgive them and set them free, and I set myself free. So remember, whatever you went through as a child, even if you blame your parents or if you don't blame your parents, whatever it is, you did choose them because you had a lesson to learn in life. And even if it wasn't an easy lesson to learn and it wasn't the best childhood, you chose them for a reason. So I love you all so much today. I'm going to hop off of this, but I hope everybody's having a great day, and I will talk with all of you later. Yes, Lisa, we are not alone, and yes, set free. Absolutely. Bye, y'all.